I'm calling the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I am now going to administer the oath to our new board member, Nancy Davis. I'm going to ask you to stand. Can you come over here? Let's see. Okay, if you can raise your right hand and read what's on your paper.
I, Nancy L. Davis, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the Eldred Central School Board according to the best of my ability.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask for a motion to appoint a president. Or excuse me, may I have someone who would like to appoint a president? Anyone?
Do we need to reappoint?
Yes, we have to reappoint over here.
I nominate Scott Howell.
Okay. Is there a second on that?
A second.
Scott has a mask. Can't really see him.
Okay, anyone else at this juncture? Anyone nominating anyone else at this point?
What?
Okay.
Jason, J&J.
We're going to move.
Supposedly a sick little box underneath their porch.
Oh yeah, did you see it?
What he was telling me about it. And he asked if we seen it when we were walking by, and we said, no, so we didn't see it.
Okay, at this point, we're going to vote. Mr. Halleck, how do you vote? Nominating yourself for president?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Good?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Okay, and Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to have Mr. Halleck stand to be sworn in. Put your name down. Okay, please stand, raise your right hand, and say what's on the paper.
I, Scott Howell, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of New York, the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the officer of president of the Eldred Central School Board member, according to the best of my ability.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Halleck. I'm now going to turn the meeting over to Mr. Halleck, our new president. Thank you.
So where are we here? Nominations for
We're
vice
at
president.
204.
204. I need a motion to re-nominate Stacy Kuhn as vice president. I have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Kristen, second by Nancy. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it.
Okay.
Stacy, you're back in.
Okay, we're going to have to do her oath. I'm going to ask for you to raise your right hand and say what's on the paper.
I, Stacy Kuhn, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Vice President of the Eldred Central School Board according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Approval to appoint Lisa Zabertsa as district clerk of the Board of Education for the 2020-2021 school year. I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Stacy, a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. You gotta get me alone, you're gonna do it with the board?
I'm doing it when we all do it.
Wow, you're privileged. Congratulations. Be resolved, the Board of Education has completed the superintendent's performance evaluation process. Salary and benefits determined by the board at the time of the appointment and are reviewed by the board each year pursuant to paragraph number 4 of the superintendent's contract. A 0% to 3% performance raise is suggested. The superintendent has met the highly affected status, which entitles a 3% raise at 6.2726%. Earned raises but deferred $14,373. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Stacy, a second.
I'll second it.
Second by Kristen Smith, right?
No, Nancy.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nancy.
That's okay.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All ayes. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Approval of the superintendent's contract. Be resolved, the board hereby authorizes the president to sign a renewal extension contract for the employment of the superintendent of schools, Dr. John Regano, dated July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2025, as presented to the board at this meeting. I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I need a second.
Second.
So it's made by Kristen and second by Stacy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Welcome back. President Administration, the oath to the Vice President, all board members, superintendent, school district treasurer. Oh, roll call. Amador, sorry about that. Let me back up from there. Amador emailed me last night late. He said he had something come up. He couldn't make it, so he was worried about a quorum, so we'll be fine. I meant to bring that up. Moving on. So this is where we all stand, right?
Correct.
Can we read it? Everybody got to stand. Nancy, you too. Right, Nancy, got to stand?
You have a paper.
You can read it. I, Scott Halleck, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution
I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York. And I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the Eldred Central School Superintendent
to the best of my
according to
ability.
the best of my ability.
Congratulations, everybody. Another fun-filled year. Okay, that's done. All right, now. Approval of NISBA. What's that, the SCSBA and the RSBA. Approval that the Board of Education remains a member of the New York State School Boards Association, the Sullivan County School Boards Association, and the Rural School Board Association for the 2020-2021 school year. Now, Stacy, you're the one that's on it?
I'm currently the voting delegate.
You are the voting delegate, right?
I am.
And you were the
Alternate.
alternate. So we need a replacement for Joanna. Is any of the other two interested? It's either going to Manhattan or going to Rochester.
You're just as an alternate.
You don't have to go.
Not her.
I will.
You want to be the alternate, Nance? Perfect. So Stacy remains the voting, and if Stacy can't go, Nancy will go. So I need a motion for that, right? I need a motion for Stacy to be the voting board.
I'll make that motion.
You second? I'll second. You second it, Nick? Okay, motion by Kristen, second by Nancy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to accept Nancy Davis as the alternate to go to the New York State Board of Education.
Make the motion.
Got a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, made by Stacy, second by Kristen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, very good. That's done. What did we do? We wrapped up 2 and 1, Lisa, did we do that?
Yep, we did.
Okay, so they're both done then, okay. Voting delegate,
2-1-1.
we did that too, right? 2, 1, 1?
Yes.
Yep.
So that's done, okay. Approval of Board of Representatives to attend annual NISBA convention. Approval for a representative of the board to attend the annual New York State School Boards Convention in New York City on October 2020.
Make the motion.
You're the one that's gonna go, right? So I need a motion for the school board
I'll make
delegate to go to
Doesn't say who, just says representative.
Representative. We need a motion. She had a motion, Stacy made a motion, you got a second? Second down there. Nancy. All in favor? Aye.
If it's not canceled or postponed.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work this year, but we'll talk about that. I don't know. Not what we went through up in Rochester.
No.
I mean, the rooms are like the size of yours. And they were putting 15, 20 people in. It was tight. It was really tight.
I have to have a room by myself.
Yeah. Approval of SCSB Executive Committee. Approval to appoint as the district representative to the Sullivan County School Board's Executive Committee for the 2020-2021 school year. Was that me last year?
Yeah, I think you, Joanna. Joanna, did you just go as just to sit in?
I think it was me and Stacy that went to, right? You and I went to
Yeah, this
Liberty?
past year it wasn't on me.
I'll be a delegate for that. Anybody want to make a motion?
Motion to appoint Scott Howard to the SCSB Executive Committee representative.
A second?
I'll second.
Second by Nancy, motion by Stacy. All in favor? Aye. Okay. That takes care of that, correct? District reports, superintendent report.
I first want to thank everyone who took part in graduation. Tina, that includes you. The sound wouldn't have come across without your diligence and Jed's work. I appreciate everything that everyone did toward that effort. And toward that end, Jeff Haas is receiving a Certificate of Kindness Award, and he did a lot to facilitate our using the Fireman's Field. I understand people want to have graduation there from now on. And there's a Certificate of Kindness for the entire Uline Fire Department because everyone pitched in and helped, and it's very much appreciated. I think I worried about the weather and I worried about everything else. Scott took care of the weather, and Scott, anything you want to add about graduation?
I thought it went very, very well for what we had to deal with, and I heard everything good. Haven't heard anything negative.
Me neither. Reopening school, the task force is going to begin its work August 4th, 5th, and 6th. I have a plan from New Jersey. New York has no such plan. Hopefully in due time. I think the governor is wise to wait a little bit because things are changing rapidly with the resurgence, and I think he doesn't want to do something and then go back and change it. And I'm suggesting that we have a motto that every Eldred student can and will learn to their potential. We have strive for excellence, and I would like to have it more specific, that every Eldred student can and will learn to their potential. I think that's where we need to go as a district, and we need to move forward academically. We're in pretty decent shape fiscally, and now the mission focuses on academics. And I think that's all I have to say for now. Thank you.
Any questions for Dr. McGann on his report from the board? All good? District Treasury Report. Caleb, you're up.
Okay, I'm just going to take this mask off for this report. So one of the things that I'd like to discuss, which was discussed last week, was taking the business office back from BOCES. I've already started the process for this. It's going to be there won't be any net negative cost on that. We would need 2 full-time people. There's going to be a transition period. We estimate that the full transition will take until January 1st. In the meantime, we will still receive full aid on last year, so that will offset some of the cost of paying for the business office for the 6 months that would still operate. What will need to happen is we're going to need to transfer all of the records over to our school district from the WinCap that's hosted on BOCES server. I'm going to have to sit down with BOCES and prepare a schedule of all of the duties that they perform and assign them to new staff members. meantime, we're of course working on our year-end audit, and we will need to do our financial statements for the ST3. So this will take a number of months, during which I will continue to update you as the process. Year-end preliminary numbers, we're looking at somewhere between $250,000 and $400,000 into the fund balance for the school year. We're still doing general journal entries, putting in all our accounts payable, accounts receivable. The year ended yesterday, so I don't have final numbers, but we should have a good year for the 1920 school year, and that number will lower our fiscal distress score further than what it was this last year. You will notice on your board agendas that there is an item for workers' compensation trust. We have $510,000 in our workers' compensation reserve fund. We had a very, very large claim. Now, this is a claim that went in probably 4 or 5 years ago, but was finally settled. It was an extremely large payment that brought our balance negative. It's a negative $68,000. So we need $68,000 out of that reserve just to make our workers' compensation balance full. And I'm recommending an additional $42,000, which is about 2 months worth of payments, to hold in balance. Now, that is not coming out of our budget. That's coming out of a $510,000 workers' compensation reserve that we have set aside for this. It's not going to be a reoccurring number. It is a one-time payment for an injury to a teacher some time ago. The tax collection process this year, we're going to need a new tax collector. I have started that search, which is why it is not on this agenda, because I don't currently have a person in place. Summer projects are starting. We're going to be doing things with radios, cameras, and we may need a couple new vans. I will brief you on that as we get more details on the cost. And of course, you'll see that in future reports as well. As far as hiring, you're going to see on your agenda that we are hiring 2 cafeteria positions, or we're creating 2 cafeteria positions. We had a full-time cafeteria person retire, and it's easier to replace them with 2 temporary or 2 part-time workers. That gives us some added flexibility in coverage. We can have one in one building, one in the other. If somebody's out, you can have some overlap in their schedules. And then also you'll notice a student for outside work. We hired this student last year. We did not replace one of our cleaners, and we think that the added help would be nice for cleaning up the outside while the cleaners and maintenance work on the inside of the building. And that is what I have for you tonight.
Any questions for Caleb?
Yes. Caleb, for the move of bringing the business office back, do we have to seek approval for that from BOCES, or we can take that action of our own volition?
We are going to have to discuss with BOCES, which we've already started the discussion with them, just negotiating a
Timeline.
Timeline.
I had a discussion with Susan Schmidt, the assistant superintendent, and it was BOCES that suggested a January date for completion, and they're in agreement that from now till January will be sufficient time for a smooth transfer.
Okay. That's all I have.
What, you said 250 to 300,000, Caleb, looks like for the end of the year?
To possibly 400,000. I have a couple grants that I don't believe are accounted for in the budget yet. That's something I need to speak with BOCES, because we have an accountant up there that does the general journal entries, and I'm not sure whether they've accounted for 2 grants, which would take the teacher salaries that they're used for out of the general fund and into a special aid fund. If that number's in there, that's like another 50 grand on top of.
So rough number till next month, what's the fund balance gonna end up being at the end of the year, roughly?
Well, we ended with, I believe it was 320 and change. So if you add on the low end, 570, on the high end, 650.
Okay. Very good.
You want to talk
720, I'm sorry.
Do you want to say anything about the governor's potential cut?
The governor has withheld 20% aid from the 12 major cities in New York State. Their fiscal year is different than ours. It runs on a calendar year. So I would not be surprised to see that happen with us. He's told them for the time
I was gonna say, we worked the budget around that 20 to 25%. You even went out as far as 30%, correct? We see where we were gonna be?
We did, yeah, but we worked, most of our projections are based on 25.
Good, so if it's 20, then we'll be in the plus. What's some of the big positives about bringing back the business for everybody to know?
A lot of the positives are just operational.
Right.
It's a lot easier to have somebody that you can go talk to. You don't have to work around a particular schedule. Like right now during COVID, and BOCES will work with you, but they only have one person in the office 2 hours a day for check printing. Now that's of course increased now that that people are out of the building more. But when you want to get something processed, you just walk down.
I was gonna say, it's a big plus to walk down the hall and talk to somebody.
If you want to check done off the board, it's a lot easier to do if there's a person there, because you're not necessarily inconveniencing them. Tuesday is not necessarily Paul's first day, it's all your day. So there's just some operational issues that are a lot better when you have it in-house. You have more control over what kinds of functions you want done, and the cost is virtually the same.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Any other conversation or questions for Caleb? Thank you, Caleb. I just want to say thanks to the Ullman Fire Department and Jeff Haas and the entire committee, Bonnie, and everybody that made last Friday night a big success. Like I said before, I heard all good things. And I just want to thank everybody in the community for their full support, extended support for this school system. It's been there in the past, and I'm sure it'll be there in the future. And as you can hear the numbers from Caleb, we're not going anywhere. So thanks for all your support. Thanks for all the help through the graduation. It was a big success. Any questions for me? All right.
I'd also like to add, if possible, a big thank you to Dr. Morgano as well. I think that it speaks volumes to the fact that we've received overwhelming support in getting a positive budget vote. So I really think that he needs to be recognized for the hard work that he does for our students in our district.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public comment on the consent agenda items only. Is there anything on the screen, or did you get any questions, Tina?
There are no questions. I don't know if you want to ask if they have questions, and I can.
Yeah, you can ask if they have any questions. If nothing pops up now, I'm sure somebody here will have questions or whatever. If not, there's always another. With doing a meeting like this, we make exceptions that you can comment on the consent agenda at the next public comment if you'd like, because I know it's not normal. Is there any questions on the floor on the consent agenda?
You see nothing.
Nothing?
Users were able to unmute themselves if they have a question, but nobody has. So I think we're okay.
Yep. Okay, moving on. I will need a motion to approve the consent items 501 through 902. And before that, does anybody have any discussion on some of the consent items? It's kind of lengthy. We've all had a chance to review them and look at them. Does anybody have any questions or discussions from the board? All good? I need a motion to approve the 501 through 902.
Make the motion.
Motion by Stacy,
I'll second.
seconded by Kristen. You just got your masks on, I can't tell your voices. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any old business to come before the board? Any new business to come before the board?
I received a flyer today from Officer Stevenson. Are you familiar with this, Scott? The bike club that he has? And I told him we would mention it at the board meeting. He has a mountain bike team. His goal is to get kids off the phone and onto the bike trail. And this is for middle and high school, boys and girls, 6th grade to 12th grade. And I'll put him in touch with Kelly Pratchett. I know we have bicycles. He said he has plenty, but we may have a kid that wants to do it and doesn't have a bike.
Can you put this on the website?
Yes, we're going to put it on the website.
Perfect. Perfect.
And I just need to mention that the food pantry at St. Anne's Church and the town of Lumberland and the St. Anthony's Church is available to people in the community during the summer. Thank you.
Any other questions on any other questions? Any public comment?
Is this the second public comment?
Yep.
I just wanted to make a mention about our food program and the positives that I've been hearing, and how a couple of families, well, the mothers were actually in tears about how our cafeteria workers put hot meals in there and made it so that there was enough for every kid in their family, and it was very touching and heartwarming to hear the comments. And that they would go up to the window and the cafeteria workers would be there, and they would sit there for a couple minutes and let them just say how much they really needed the food because they lost their job or something like that, and just that they wanted me to express their heartfelt gratitude for the school for providing it, but also for our cafeteria workers for taking the time and listening to them. And it felt like it took like a weight off of them to be able to just talk to somebody outside the family about needing the food and them understanding. So it's just a big round of applause for our cafeteria workers and for our district for doing such an awesome service for our families.
Thank you. Any other public comment? All righty, I'd like to read a plaque presented to Joanna Dutcher with grateful appreciation for your years of outstanding leadership to our students, faculty, staff, and the community. Thank you for your 2 years of service as a member of the Eldred Central School District Board of Education, June 30th, 2020. Thank you for your time, Joanna. And we have a little cake.
Thank you so much.
So before we enter into executive session, we will take 10 minutes for Joanna's cake, and then I will make a motion in 10 minutes to enter executive session. I believe there will be business afterwards.
Yes, sir.
So let's take a few minutes and have some cake for Joanna, and then we will continue with business.
And the next meeting is set for August 13th, it's July 23rd.
Okay. Correction on it, meeting will be August
The
23rd.
next meeting will be July 23rd at 6 p.m. here. The August meeting will be at GRN. So they can do this for.
Well, we'll just start out after after this one. Yeah, that's good.
No, keep it going.
Yes, mute us, please.
Right. Because then they have to reinitialize another meeting.
Correct. So if you had an announcement, you're just going to, what you're going to do so they can make their
Yeah, I think that.
It's not.
We're going to have to make it for the service to the school board, and then we'll move into executive session. When we come out, we'll likely be some business to conduct. That's where we're at.
I hope they heard you, the mic is back. What? I hope they heard you, the mic is back. I don't think that's good.
I don't think that kind of stuff.
I did.
I need a motion to come out of executive session.
Make a motion?
Motion by Stacy,
Second.
second by Kristen. Okay, a couple things we need to go over. We need to establish and do. Establish a stipend for administrative support
at a rate of $2,500
at a rate of $2,500 a year. I need a motion to do that.
Make the motion.
I need a second?
I'll second
And that's one for the elementary, one for the secondary.
Right.
it. Each, 2,500 each?
Correct.
$2,500 each. 2 positions. Motion by Stacy, second by Kristen. Create a s-
Could we open a discussion around that, just so that the public is aware?
Sure.
Okay.
Any discussion?
So these two administrative support positions with the $2,500 per year stipend would, in essence, cover the principal in either the high school or the elementary school in the event that the principal was absent. And regardless of the number of days or hours worked, the $2,500 would be the flat rate for the year.
Correct, and they would also assist in our coming back to school. There's going to be a need for some administrative help, and they'll devote those hours to that as well, at no additional cost beyond the $2,500 stipend.
Any more discussion? Motion was made by Stacy, second by Kristen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Create a stipend position, or no? What's that? Read that.
Create stipend position of instructional support services at an hourly rate to be funded by a grant.
Discussion.
We need to move forward academically, and this additional instructional support services will facilitate our move toward academic excellence. And it's going to be funded through the grant that we received for improving academics. So Mr. Russell tells us that we can fund it all through that grant.
With that being said, this was a position that the board had agreed upon last year. And with the cuts that we're taking and not sure where we're going, the board has decided to go this route instead of establishing a position. Now, we're going to go this route and do a stipend and at an hourly rate instead of committing to a full position until we see what cuts and where we're going to be at. Is there any further discussion? Any questions?
And it's covered by a grant.
And it's covered by a grant. No further discussion? I need a motion.
Motion.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Nancy?
Yep.
Second. Stacy made the motion.
Yep.
All in favor? Aye. 2 account clerks for the business office transferred from BOCES. These 2 positions are for Caleb, bringing back the business office. These 2 positions will be a union, correct me if I'm wrong, a union position.
Civil service.
A civil service, but it'll be in a union,
Yes,
correct?
correct.
And the pay will be with what the union scale is.
Correct.
That's why there's no pay here now. Any other discussion on those 2 positions? Need a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Stacy made a motion. Need a second?
I'll second it.
Nancy?
Yep.
Nancy seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No. Want me to read this whole thing?
That was just summarizing.
We are putting a position as a cook instead of a food service helper in the high school. That job is for cooking and doing the paperwork over here, which will report to the third, what's the food, what's the title? Administrator.
Cook manager.
Cook manager. Any discussion on this position?
Well, with Ruth retiring and another employee not able to be here, we do cooking at the high school, it's appropriate to have someone with the title of cook.
Any other discussion? Any questions? I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Nancy second, Stacy motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Two more, right? Caleb, two part-time?
Did you guys do the two part-time for the?
No.
No, we already did that. That was already done.
We've already done, so it's all taken care of.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Any other business to come before the board? I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Stacy motion. Kristen second? Kristen second. See you on
The next meeting is,
23rd.
what did we say?
23rd July, right?
20
July 23rd.
July 23rd at 6 p.m. here.